for it to pop up over here.
Yeah, well, in a second. Have some patience, damn it.
I don't have patience.
One thing we hate is people with no patience. If you have no patience, things will not happen for you.
Patience for certain.
We're now streaming. Okay, we are now streaming. We're good. We are good to go. This is what we're doing here. Oh my God, it's good to have you back in the studio.
I'm back.
Yeah, you're back in the studio.
I'm back on the holiest day of the year,
it
the
is
Jewish
Yom
calendar,
Kippur, right?
And like confusing all my Jewish friends as to why I'm podcasting live on this day.
Well, you don't practice.
I am.
You're an observing. You observe, but you don't practice.
No. I would call myself a not very observant, non-religious, cultural, very proud cultural and ethnic Jew. So I actually said something interesting to my daughter about this, who was like, I think I'm going to fast today. But we were talking about it. And I was like, I've done it lots of times. I said, the thing that I want you to think about is if you're doing it, that there's meaning behind it. You're doing it for a reason. And we talked a little bit about what the holiday was. It's like, don't do something if you're just like suffering and not eating, but you're not thinking about repentance and reflection and renewal. That was my little... That's what that's what we're doing. Like the New Year, that's Rosh Hashanah, and then it's like we're kind of taking inventory.
For those not familiar,
yeah,
and keep that. You got to keep that. Yeah, you got to keep that at you because it's too far away from you.
Near my face. What are you asking me about the Jewish holiday today? For those not familiar,
it's. Hold on 1 second. I'm talking to somebody while I'm talking to you. See, this is the live.
What is this? Get your priorities straight, man. He's texting over here.
No, I'm just
messaging.
It's a friend of mine told me a comic was talking shit about me. And one of the things she said was, I take 30 minutes between when you host bringing up comics. And the problem is a lot of comics don't understand the vibe of hosting. When you're hosting, you're controlling the tempo of the show and the tempo of the room. And if you suck as a comic, I got to bring that room back to life.
Right, you're bringing up the energy.
If you're too high, I got to bring it back down. I got to temper the room.
Right, that's
and
your
a lot
job
of people
as a
don't. A lot of people don't understand that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's why they're not the host. But you're asking me about the Jewish holidays, and now you're
go ahead.
What am I telling you? What's the question?
So a lot of people don't understand. This is what we do in the first 5 minutes. We get accustomed to each other all of a sudden again. We're getting back and making sure we understand where we're going. So what does this is Yom Kippur, right?
Yeah, Yom Kippur.
What does Yom Kippur actually represent? Because I just knew it as a day I got off from school. Like I didn't know what it really was.
It's the Day of Atonement. So Rosh Hashanah is the New Year.
Okay.
And then there's like this period of days between it where you're kind of taking inventory of your year. What I would say is I am actually more down with the traditions of Judaism than ever as I kind of went on a spiritual journey, because I really like to do that type of work. I do it all the time.
Okay.
So it's like you're looking back at your year. Maybe you're asking for forgiveness from anyone who you have wronged, or you're just kind of like clearing the slate. Like we're going to start over. We're going to start the Torah over. We're going to, that's Simchat Torah. You're going to like restart everything. So you want to start with a clean slate, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, if I hurt you, I'm sorry. Like, if you hurt me, I'm offering forgiveness. All this kind of like work that is self-work that I do anyways. So there's, again, it's the Day of Atonement. I'm not big on like sin and that kind of idea. I'm big on reflection. So I'm like, personally, I'm going to reflect on my year. I'm going to have any conversations that need having. And then it's about renewal, so we can start over. So they say, we say in Hebrew, Gomar Chatima Tova, which is like, may I be inscribed of the book of life for the year ahead. So it's like kind of a cool, there's a lot of, because it's a very like old ancient religion, there's a lot of pretty cool, what I want to say, like practices, rituals. And so I've been doing that. Like, it's a time of year where I like to do that. I think fall is a great time of year anyways. I like to say I'm a Jew witch. So I have that, like, I feel like it lines
I love
up.
that you said that witch, because all of a sudden I've been getting on my TikTok, this whole
Everyone's a
entire
witch.
thing. I've been getting this thing pulling up about how to, like, spells and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It took a while, like the whole entire how to get. So a new one came across my feed. Let me read it to you. It says to do this daily. I'm glad you brought that up. See, this is why we do this 5-minute piece in the beginning.
You know, I'm going to be doing a full moon gathering in town. I was dubbed the Good Witch of Westfield. All of my dreams have come true.
It's called the Abundance Manifestation Ritual.
Oh, yeah.
And I was supposed to say this every day.
What are you going to say?
By the power of sky, earth, and sea, I call abundance here to me.
Yes.
So
that's like an incantation spell. So, like, you know, what is witchcraft versus Wicca? Wicca's like religion. Witchcraft is just like a pagan practice of, the way I think of it is making ritual out of prayer.
Okay.
So, like, witchcraft is very kind of element bound. So earth and air and, you know, water, and which one did I miss? Fire. Yeah. And bringing in the elements, and it's very like nature bound, ritualistic stuff. So it's like, if you are saying that again and again, you are making it so. And we say it like witches, we say, and so it is.
Okay.
Like, instead of amen, we say, and so it is.
Okay.
So yeah, identify that way. But it's interesting because in my religion, there is a lot of people that kind of identify that way. There's the whole Kabbalah and the mysticism. And so I think maybe what I want to say is there's lots of ways to identify as whatever you identify as. And I am no less Jewish because I'm not sitting in synagogue right now. And I'm podcasting.
I think a lot of people make that mistake. I'll be honest with you. I think a lot of people do that with anything in general.
Yeah.
They want to identify you according to how they feel that you are practicing something, how you are participating in something.
Well, you know your book, I Like Black People, the Good Ones. So there's this really good, there's this dialogue of good Jew, bad Jew. And I'm like not having it these days because I'm exactly enough Jewish. I'm the way I am Jewish. It's my ethnicity. It is my culture. It's my identification. My husband thought I was super religious when we met because of how often I talk about being Jewish, but it's just like who I am.
But it is a part of your identity.
It's a much bigger part of my identity than I realized as a kid, I would say. And I was not like you. I was not in a Jewish area. So I was definitely a minority. And I had to kind of like figure that out. And then I was even more confusing because the kids that were Jewish were mostly more practicing than my family was. So then I'm like, okay, well, so I don't fit in with, like you said, like I don't fit in with the Jews. I don't fit in with the non-Jews. Who the hell am I? But that new show everyone's watching, Nobody Wants This, has so much Jewish culture brought in, and I'm loving it because I get it.
Well, Hollywood in the production world is heavily Jew-based. It's a lot.
Jewish-based because they gave us that job because that was not a godly job.
Yeah, and there's nothing. I'm not saying it in a bad way.
No, it just is. There's a lot of Jews in Hollywood and in entertainment.
Yes, and that's how I'm saying it. It's when you go into it, and there's a lot of people who are they're Jewish. They're of Jewish faith.
They also,
once you get to Hollywood.
The funny thing about this show is the one thing I will say, it's right at the beginning when this non-Jewish woman.
Yeah, I know. I didn't turn my volume down.
What the hell just happened to your phone?
Me.
Okay, when this non-Jewish woman.
I did it. Leave me alone.
You did it. Has the hots for the rabbi. She kind of like looks at him and goes like, but like, can you have sex? And he's like, I'm not a priest.
Really?
Well, like, priests can't have sex, right? Well, I know. Well, let's not go there.
Let's talk about that in a different way.
So he says, yeah, I can do that. I'm supposed to procreate, actually.
Okay.
So there you go. That's the hit show right now. We could probably do a whole talk about that, but we are not talking about that today. We're talking about dating in our 40s and beyond.
Which, let me be honest with you, as a man who is
I want to know what that means.
As a man who is 51 going on 52.
Oh, you don't even want to say it, huh?
I haven't dated anyone in about 22 years. Had a lot of sex.
What does that mean?
I said it on stage. I've had a lot of sex, but I haven't really dated anyone, like my girlfriend.
Since your 30s?
Like, you're my girlfriend. This is me and you. I think we talked about it before. I had my heart broken when I was around 28 to 30.
Yeah. That's hard.
I was dating a Jewish woman.
Of course you were.
She couldn't bring me home to mommy and daddy.
That was hard.
Mommy and daddy were very filthy, stinking rich. Dad owned banks.
So she didn't want to get cut off from said parents.
There was a lifestyle, like she even dated a Jewish guy after me, but he was just a common everyday worker.
And he wasn't good enough.
And he wasn't good enough because daddy used to pay for them to go to Miami every year.
Yeah. And
daddy said to her, if he's your husband, he should be able to afford to take you down to Miami. I shouldn't be paying for it because now he's your you're his responsibility. Right. That was the mentality.
So that was their family's mentality.
Even though he was paying for his son and his new daughter-in-law to go to Miami. See what I'm saying?
Oh, interesting.
So he would,
it was the job of the
husband,
the man to do that. That's interesting.
But he was paying for the son,
her brother,
and her brother's wife to go to Miami. But her husband or whoever she was involved with had to pay for their trip.
Huh.
So whatever that thing was,
you basically got your heart broken.
It was well, first of all, it was 6 months. It was very intense. Like, I loved being around her. Like, yeah. I'll be honest with you. And
love of your life.
I could look at, I don't know if it was the love of my life. If things were different, I could say I probably would have asked her to marry me. We got along very well.
Yeah.
Absolutely very intense between us.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just sexual, it was a vibe. It was the energy.
Yeah, it was the whole thing.
And for me, it's really hard. Listen, we're going to talk more about this. Let's open up the show. Let's bring it in, and then we'll talk more about it in a second. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Self-Help for Assholes. Today, we are talking about dating over 40. We'll be back in a moment. I read an article a long time ago, and the article basically said that a lot of people that have personality disorders are undiagnosed.
Maybe that if people have cognitive empathy.
I'm Marklyn Johnson.
I'm Tammy Spiewak.
And this is Self-Help for Assholes. Why do you always linger on that? You got to be with me on that.
For Assholes.
So I'm Marklyn Johnson.
I'm Tammy Spiewak.
And this is Self-Help for Assholes. And there we go. Hey, everybody. How the hell you guys doing?
Where did that come from? Hey. A lot of energy.
That's where I be sometimes.
That's where you be.
That's where I be sometimes. Listen, welcome to Self-Help for Assholes. This is your host, Marklyn, along with the co-host, Tammy, over there. That's me. Hiding your face. That's what I was trying to tell you.
Well, I'm not very tall.
It shouldn't hide your
right
face. There you go. I got to make sure we hear you correct, so we should be good. So anyway,
everyone,
listen.
Should I wink at the camera?
If that's your freaky thing, do what you do. I'm not gonna play this game with you. You do what you do. Do what makes you feel best.
Okay. Thanks for.
So, with that being the case, ladies and gentlemen, today we are talking about dating over 40. And before we went to break, which wasn't a break, just before we did the formal entrance, we were talking about why I haven't dated. The young woman I dated back then, I really liked. Mm-hmm. And I've liked women since then. I'm not going to make it seem like I haven't met anyone since, because I have. It was funny.
Right, met somebody that you had like more of an interest in.
I've met, but I'm very fearful of relationships.
Because of you don't want to get hurt?
Yeah, I don't want to get hurt. And I'm scared of...
That must have been terrible.
I think it's worse now since my parents have passed away.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of grief that you have to go through when you get attached to someone.
Oh yeah.
And part of me this month, it's 10 years since my dad passed away.
Yeah.
And death is never an easy thing to deal with.
No.
But on the other side of it, relationships, when you're all in, when you're dating someone and you're enjoying who they are and you're enjoying the essence of them, and then all of a sudden they pull away.
Oh yeah, it's like absolutely crushing. I mean, as somebody who works supporting people with their mental health, it's like, breakups and divorce are certainly up there with death and loss of a home or a job. Like it's real trauma.
It is. And I think so we're going to talk about dating over 40, but part of the thing is, for me, the reason why I've actually turned it into a joke.
Of course you have.
What it was like when I was
coping mechanism.
What was it like when I was dating back when I was in my late 20s and 30s versus now? Like back then, you could actually put it out there that you just wanted to fuck. You could.
There he goes. Yeah,
you could just put it out there like, I'm just looking to fuck.
You can't do
You
that
can't do
now.
that with older. Like, even if a woman tells you that she's down for it, there's so much more on the plate that's wanted and desired, unless she's in that lifestyle.
Well,
Because
I think you're generalizing, and I'll tell you why. I did date in my late 30s and 40s.
Well, hold on for a second. What I'm saying is, unless they're in that lifestyle, like that swingers lifestyle. If they're in the swingers lifestyle, then it is, hey, we could just hook up. I'm not requiring a whole lot.
Or what if they're in a transitional stage of their life?
But even then, it's still a lot of women still, even in what I've discovered, are just conversation. Because I don't date. When I tell you I don't date,
Yeah,
I
don't date. I know that about you.
I don't even humor the idea. And there's girls I'm friends with. There's girls that I'm very close to. Mm-hmm. There's flirtation. There's attraction. But there's no, I don't put myself in that element of it's going to be me and you. I don't do that.
Well, to protect yourself from it
and
longer being
And
me
a young
you.
lady actually said, I want you to go look at your attachment styles, right?
Oh, people are overemphasizing this, but
They
I
are.
hear you on that.
But and we're going to talk about that too, because I think that's a huge thing. My attachment style was fear and dismissive.
Fearful avoidant?
Fearful, avoidant, and dismissive.
Yeah, that's
right?
very that's like disorganized attachment. So it's like I want you, stay away from me.
Yes.
It's like back and forth.
However,
oh, you're real fucked up.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I am. I admit it. But here's the thing about that.
Yeah.
I always say the main reason why I stay single is it's hard to find a woman that'll just let me be me. What I find,
and you want your peace.
and I want to be. I don't need drama. I really don't like. So when we were talking about how busy I am, right?
Yes.
I told you the other week I was almost falling asleep at a mic.
Yeah.
The
'cause
minute
you
it
were
was
so-
time for me to go up, I was fully alert. But the minute I was sitting down,
You were
I'm nodding off.
nodding
I'm
off.
falling asleep. And I'm not falling asleep like narcoleptic. I'm falling asleep that if I had just let myself go,
you could have slept.
I would have
sitting
passed
up.
I would have passed out for at least a good 3 hours
Oh, yeah.
and not thought about it. You know, if somebody had just let me be there. I was mentally fit. This was a mental exhaustion. It wasn't just physical.
because when you're out there, you're like entertaining people, so it's not just the physical exhaustion of running around.
And people don't understand that. So with that being the case, me meeting women and women saying, "Oh, I get it." No, they don't. Women don't understand this lifestyle of doing comedy. They don't.
Well, like any kind of entertainment, you're going to always be on the go, on the
Yes.
run. So I think people do need to be, I think this might be like the first thing I would say for somebody, 40s, 50s, beyond, when looking for a partner. What do you actually want
100%.
as far as like your day to day?
Yes.
Because when you're in your 20s, what you want might be a lot different than when you're in your 40s, or it might be the same. I mean, that was definitely what happened in my marriage.
In your 20s and your 30s, what are you doing with your life? What's going
Right.
on? What's your
Right.
direction? In your 40s and 50s, it's a lot different. I'm finding more so when you're in your 40s and 50s, there was more conversation, trying to get to know you. And it's also a change and a shift of the world that we live in.
Right.
Right? People wanted to take time to get to know you, and you didn't have to be perfect. There was a compromise of personalities.
You're saying
back
as
then.
you age.
As you age. Before.
Well, you kinda know who you are.
Well, before. When you were in your 20s and 30s, there was a compromise of personalities.
Okay.
We really get along. I'm not into this hobby, but I'm into that.
Okay.
Now, if you go on these dating sites, one of the most, I think we talked about it before, women will list their height. You know what I mean?
Height?
As a deterrent. I'm 5'7". I'm 5'9".
Okay.
Anything under, if they're under 5'7", they really don't mention their height that
But
much.
right, they want to be transparent. I'm tall, so I'm
I'm
looking
a tall,
for somebody taller.
but what they're also using that as a way of saying I want a man taller than me without saying it.
Sure,
That's why they put
okay.
it out there.
But that's fair.
I'm 5'7". I need a man taller than me. My thing is that because they get to know themselves, they start putting more restrictions on the idea of who they're going to engage.
Right.
Whereas when you're in your 20s and 30s and you're hitting bars and we were hitting clubs,
right.
we would randomly meet people.
I was hitting fraternity parties.
Yeah, but you would randomly meet people and have strange conversations and be like, I never thought about that guy or that girl.
Right.
I think maybe I'll give that person an opportunity because we hit it off, vibed on a conversation.
Right.
Now,
so people don't meet out in the world the way they did. Did you take a look at that thing that I showed you, that graphic?
No.
It's interesting. Like, most people meet online now.
And that's the thing.
Long story short.
Most people do.
Yeah.
And the reason and the fact is that most people meet online is because most people don't know how to be around other adults. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And COVID made it worse.
Oh yeah, we read that interesting article that you sent me about people basically stopped dating. They don't even want to. They don't want to put up with the discomfort of it.
COVID made it worse.
Very interesting.
I will tell you now, this younger generation, because I'm in comedy and I'm around younger people than I am older, especially if you're in the New York scene.
The young set.
If you're in the New York scene, and here's the thing, I look young, so
you do. You do.
There was a female comic, and I think she was kind of flirting with me.
Right.
And I think she was like 30, 35-ish.
Right.
And
Which isn't young.
It's not young.
It's like an actual person.
She was kind of, giving me that little bit of a look, and I just said to her, I said, by the way, I'm 51. And I said that because I knew it would kill the conversation.
Right.
Because most women that are 30, 30, something like that,
they're not looking for a 51-year-old.
They're not looking for a 51-year-old, and that'll kill all that right then and there.
Do you think they are looking for? What do you think they're looking for? Just what do you think? Because I have some idea based on
I think a lot of them,
age-wise, in comparison to themselves. Because I have thoughts about that.
I think a lot of them are looking for a mate or a life partner. They're looking for a partner of that moment, of that time, someone they can get along with. And let's be honest, people can deny how sex isn't that big of a deal, but we're all, whether you're gay, not gay, heterosexual, pansexual, whatever sexual you are, people are sexually driven. And your body craves sex.
At the beginning of a relationship,
but your body craves, if you have ever had sex, your body craves that type of connection at some point.
I have so much to say about that.
And that's fine. Yeah. But what I'm saying is, as adults, if we've been sexually active and if we've had an enjoyable...
There's a biological desire for that.
If we had physical contact that we enjoyed, so sex was a pleasurable thing to us, part of our craving of the other person is to have that again with someone that we're comfortable with.
But also part of it is fueled by, and I've read a ton about this, it's like the mystery of a new person fuels like what they call eroticism or desire a lot. There's also a mismatch of more men have what we call spontaneous desire, as like they think about sex all the time, could go right now.
Which is
women have
which is wild. Not to interrupt you, which is wild because I remember one of the guys that was a guest on one of my old podcasts said the beautiful thing about being gay is that men want to fuck the way other men want to fuck
all the time.
So there's no confusion of what's going to go on. Right. It's we can go at any point.
So spontaneous desire is like, it just comes and I want to. Sometimes like a man would like to do that to relax, where women are typically wired to have responsive desire. So the other person and how they are acting towards them is pretty damn important.
Yes.
This is not always gender specific, but research shows that it is more gender specific, which is like the joke. My lesbian friends, they call it lesbian bed death, because it's like two women. And so if nobody initiates, it's not that like things aren't great between them, but like maybe nobody's going to initiate. And then with two men, and I have a lot of gay friends, like it's more the spontaneous
one of them's going to.
thing.
One of them's
likely going to.
And that's one of the things we got to talk about, because that's another aspect that people don't talk about. In today's day and time, with things so hypersensitive with the Me Too movement and women's rights, and I'm not saying it's bad.
It's so funny how we have different things that we're thinking about.
But
yeah, go ahead.
With that being the case, and this is me talking to women and men, right?
And men.
A woman could put out the vibe that she's down.
Yeah.
But sometimes men are scared to pick up on it because I don't want to be labeled the aggressor. Because that label, especially when you're running in small circles.
Or don't want to be rejected. It's both.
Yeah. And I had to tell this girl one day, and I said, I'm going to explain something to you. She said, what? I said, men are more insecure than women. Men are taught that we have to be secure.
Right. Doesn't mean that you are.
But most of us are more, and I'll include me, because I've had women hit on me, and I let it go over my head. Like, even if I think it's happening, I'm like, oh, this bitch will fucking just throw me off. She don't want this.
Yeah.
And I'll ignore it. Like,
Right.
I'll say she don't want me, and I'll ignore it.
Right.
Like, I know when it's obvious. When it's obvious, I know. But a lot of times,
sometimes it's hard to read.
It's not that it's hard to read. Sometimes I'm looking at her and I'm like, she ain't down. Like, she don't want this.
How do you decide that?
This is just the vibe that I'm getting when I'm having a conversation.
Vibing it out, yeah.
So my vibe is, okay, you're talking a good game, but you ain't down for this.
Okay.
You know, like I told one girl one time, and this is going back about 6 months ago, and it was casual conversation, and she said, you know, I kind of find you attractive, and I said, you don't want this, and she was like, well, I said, I'm a perv. And she goes, what do you mean by that? And I go, I'm a perv.
Right.
And I go, I will call you 9 o'clock at night because maybe I'm coming home, hanging out. I'm going to want to come by and have sex. I'm not thinking about all the extraness.
Why is that a perv?
Well, me. This is what I said to her.
That's the label, right? Like maybe you
And
just
I said,
have a high.
I said I have a high. I said I still have a high sex drive. I said it's been a long time since I've had sex. Like it's been a long time, very long.
Good for you,
right? Because I'm just not out there smashing everything that walks,
right?
And I'm more concerned with the stuff I have gone on. And a couple of times I have over the years, it's been so erratic. Like it happens real quick and then it disappears for another 6-7 months. I haven't had its consistency sex in over 5 years.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So when it happens, it's erratic. It happens and boom, I'm out.
Well,
you know
there's
what I mean?
other interesting thing that happens when relationships are new. That, you know how I'm talking about like spontaneous desire versus responsive desire?
Yes.
In the first, typically around 18 months-ish of a relationship,
Yes.
there's so many chemicals happening that the woman who typically has a more responsive desire, or whichever person in the relationship, or both, desire will be up because like those chemicals are up, right? Like there's like a lot of oxytocin, which is the love hormone happening.
New lies detected.
And so I've heard men say, you like tricked me, but there's no tricking going on. It's like when you have that like happening for you, like everyone's interested all the time. And listen, I see it in lots of different ways in my own relationship and in my clients' relationships. I talk about that a lot, that sometimes in various peaks and valleys of the relationship, there is a mismatch in desire. So these are things that people need to contend with. And I think to bring it to 40s and 50s as we're older, I think that people know what they want more as far as lifestyle, as far as what's important. So a lot of things become important, and there can be more give and take. There can be a different level of security, so you actually trust the other person more, which for those with responsive desire will definitely heat things up, if you will, because if you trust the person, that's going to be really important. If you feel relaxed, calm, safe with the person, that's going to be important. But I'm curious, like, I think I had asked you the question. I was saying,
can you hold that thought real quick? I just want to say that's to those of you who like to tag me in accounts. Stop tagging my Marklyn Speaks page with comedy. It is not meant for comedy. I have a page that is meant for comedy that is called Mr. Direct. It's straight up Mr. Direct. Stop tagging Marklyn Speaks because you are a lazy piece of shit and refuse to tag Mr. Direct. I'm going to say this. Hold on. I'm going to say this 20 times over. Stop tagging that page. It is not meant for comedy. And then people wonder why I get aggravated. I'm like, everybody knows my stage name is Mr. Direct. So why are you tagging Marklyn Speaks? That said, let's go back to talking about dating over 40.
Oh my God. You guys think he just had like a little moment there?
I've had 8 moments.
My question was around, in your experience or like looking out at the world, because what is the issue with like age? Just when we are in our 40s and 50s, is age as important? What are men typically looking for? What are women typically looking for? Is that out the window? Like, do you have thoughts on, men? I certainly do have thoughts and what I've observed, but what are like these younger women that you describe looking for? What are men your age looking for?
I interact with more women than I do men. And the sad part is there's a few things that I've noticed. One, generational, younger women believe that most male interaction with them, he's always trying to throw his dick at them. That's what
they think
they think that the dude is
like a flirting sexual.
They automatically assume that this man is trying to hook up with them. Just simple interaction, right? Bantering.
Well, they think that's what they are looked at for.
Yeah, they looked at...
Which, by the way...
mate, listen, could be.
I've been a 20-something woman before.
But the point is, there has to be a level of... Like me, I'm a direct, and I tell women this all the time. Even when I meet young female comics, I tell that I have to tell them up front. Just so you know, I'm not trying to hook up with you. Just so you know, I'm not trying to get down your pants. I'm not trying to do anything. I'm more, and I say this almost
like I'm a safe person.
Here's the thing: if I hate to say it, but you know, like some gay men have that sound to their voice, like they sound a little bit more effeminate.
Yeah.
If I sounded more effeminate, nobody would excuse me being friends with women more so. See what I'm saying?
Right.
Because they would be like, "Oh, he's gay."
Oh, he's everyone's gay friend.
Yeah.
And
but because I'm not, and because I'm very, I've got a deep voice.
Right.
I'm very me. I'm very whatever. There's always this assumption that I'm trying to hook up. And I even had somebody idiotically one time say, well, maybe the girls you don't get booked as much because people think that you're trying to flirt with the girls. Well, first of all, yes, I am a flirt, but that don't mean I'm trying to have sex with them. Flirting is not always sexual. Flirting sometimes is just a common banter.
You know what's so interesting about flirting? Like I was talking to a client about how she feels like sometimes talking with men, like she comes across as flirty. And then I said, well, do you flirt with women too? And she said, yeah, actually I do. Like not in a sexual way. It's just like who she is. I'm similar. Like I have a friendliness to me, so I can kind of like pick people up pretty quick.
There's a trans woman at one of the comedy clubs.
Yeah.
She flirts with me. I flirt with her.
Yeah.
She came in drunk.
Because you don't get like worried about that.
One morning.
Yeah.
She was drunk on Facebook and texted me.
In the morning?
It was like 3 or 4 in the morning, right?
One morning
and it was on Facebook. She just texted. She was like, Marklyn, like said my name and then, threw up laughing. Because that's how she says my name when she sees me, right? And then when I saw her, I was like, really? We drunk dialing people on Facebook? Not dialing, but texting?
Yeah.
And she started laughing. And I'm like, I don't care. You know what I mean? I was like, it was like 5 in the morning.
Right.
And she goes, but your phone was on. I go, my phone is always on Facebook. I'm always online. It just says I'm online.
Yeah.
But I don't, it's like, I'm not trying to hook up with her.
Right.
I'm not into her like that, but I flirt with her.
Right.
She's a flirt. She flirts with everything that walks.
Everything that walks.
And I hate to say it like that,
but maybe like
what it is.
Flirtation. Like, I wonder if we have to redefine it. Like, it doesn't have the goal of like sexual interaction.
I don't think that every time somebody's flirting, it's always a sexual piece. A lot of times the flirting is like, for me, I'm a very direct person. If I want you in a sexual manner, I'll let it be known I want you in a sexual manner.
Right.
There's no confusion. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's no if, ands, buts, or maybes. And any woman that knows me truly will always say, yes, if he wanted her, he'll say it. If he doesn't say it, like I actually had to tell this girl, and I've known her for about 2 years. And I said, in the 2 years that I've known you, did I ever ask you on a date? And she goes, no. I said, did I ever hint to you that I wanted to have sex with you? I said, we've had sexual conversations, but did I ever hint to you, meaning like, ooh, I'd love to hit that. Yeah. Ooh, I want to know what you look like naked. And she goes, no. And I said, so why would you tell?
You kept it at a level.
So why would you tell people that I want to hook up with you when I've never let it be known?
Well, she's vibing you the way she's vibing.
And I said to her, whatever you're saying, I said, don't say that because I'm not into you like that. Now, mind you, she was in her 30s.
Right.
Right. This is me now.
Right.
Right. And I was closer to 50. I wasn't 50 yet. I was closer to it. And I said, I said, as an older man, and we're going to get into this in a little bit, as an older man, if I want you, I will tell you I want you. If I don't tell you I want you, shut up. Leave it alone. Don't ask. Don't make it into a thing.
But you know how you were saying you can vibe things out? Like, should we not be vibing things out? Or is flirtation, like, it's funny because you and I have never had that between us. We're totally friends, but we like tease the shit out of each other.
Yeah.
And I wonder if people weren't clear. Like, I'm very clear. I tease people a lot. I'm sarcastic. You are a comedian. You are too. I think that can come across flirtatious, and it is a way of flirting. So I think that's something interesting. The thing I still want to know from you is, and you know, I can share my experience as dating in I was taken out of the game, you know, in my early 40s, but dating at a older age for women for sure. And it's funny how I have 6-year-old women I coach that are dating. Like there is no time that is too late to find love and connection.
So we're going to jump into the first one. Is it possible to find love over 40? And now this is
100%,
you know, is it possible to find love over 40? One, it says you have to persevere. If you want to improve your chances of finding love over 40, you need to be persistent. It's the determination to push through obstacles often leads to success in building meaningful relationship. Giving up always undermines the journey.
Well, you can't sit on the couch and expect to end up in a relationship. Is that fair?
You can't. Two, you have to have a positive mindset. I'm going to read through these so you have them.
Yeah.
You can't afford to buy into the toxic culture messages that women are bombarded with daily. With all the cultural pressures to look young and thin, many women feel like they need to lose weight or have expensive beauty treatments before they can start dating again. But if you want to find love after 40, blah, 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 moved over, meet people. You have to meet people. And a lot of people don't meet people at all.
Also, it's not like I was telling you how I was talking to a client who's, you know, she's divorced. She dated when she was first divorced. She stopped. She was not in it. And now she's like thinking about it. She's like, you know, she wants to be partnered. And she had a concern about appearance and weight and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I don't think that is, in my experience, I did not feel that was the number one thing men were looking for. There is an unevenness in when, so I was dating like in my late 30s, early 40s. And it was funny because I think a lot of women, like I definitely dated under my age, even considerably so, when I just kind of was casually dating because I wasn't looking for a partner. I didn't want to have any more kids. I knew that. What men have an advantage of is men can date younger if they're looking for like fertile women, right? So that can play into it. But it's like nobody knows what somebody's looking for unless they tell them. I don't think that men are overly concerned with appearance.
I don't. So
the way women think they are.
Women get mad at me when I say this, and it's weird.
I mean, shitty. You know what it is? I'm sorry, shitty, shallow men are overly concerned with appearance, but why the fuck would you want to be with them anyway?
I'm going to say this.
Sorry for interrupting.
I'm going to say this, and this is a part that I honestly believe. It's weird that a lot of women try to reshape what they think they need to look at when they go in a dating market. I need to lose 15 pounds.
Yeah, it's like so bizarre. It's not real.
And I always tell women, and I go, let me tell you something.
Be yourself.
Like, well, this is what I say. And this is, and ladies out there that are listening, if you're listening to this on replay, let me tell you something. Men will always try to depict to you that they like some skinny little bitch. They will. They'll always put it out there. Like, I want some skinny little toothpick. Now, there's not a man alive that has ever turned down a curvy ass woman. They'll tell you
some, but then they very specifically, their thing is Kate Moss in the 90s.
But most men love a curvy girl because it's eye grabbing,
and they're not overly concerned.
And let me
about
tell you
like
something.
Every little.
Let me tell you something. Nothing is sexier than when I'm able to touch some
telling
curve.
You
when
what he likes.
You see these hands. You see these hands. When I can take my hand and touch a curve And I'm not talking about pinch
You're
it.
saying you don't want bones?
When I don't want to feel bones, but
No,
when I
no.
can touch a curve and I can, put my hand around it, and man, let me tell you something. Stop this whole entire, I need to change this. Like, there are certain things, I get it. Like, if you think, like, oh my God, I'm a little bit, like I said to a girl the other day, I was like, oh, you got nice legs. And then she goes, oh, I got old lady legs. And I'm like, you have nice.
Don't put that out there. That's not manifesting what you want. Well, what about faces? Because people are doing any sort of plastic surgery or injections or filler and all that. Like, I've asked lots of men about that because I'm pretty fascinated with it. And I have the sense that it's driven by women's idea of what they are supposed to look like and not what men or women or whoever they're trying to attract wants. What do you think when you see like the amount of procedures done these days and women who are clearly not, we did one about aging gracefully. Like, they're not letting themselves age. Is that attractive? Is that unattractive? Is it neutral?
Explain that again.
So all this stuff people are doing to their face, the lips, the cheeks, the fillers. Personally for me, all this lip, like, I like a natural looking woman. If you're gonna if you're 50, be 50. If you're going to be, if you've got gray hair, I understand sometimes people want to touch up the hair. I get it. Right. I did it for a long time.
Like, for me, my barber told me, he was just like, you're going to be here in a few years. But when I trim this all the way down, you can't tell I have any gray hair. You could only tell it now.
No, you don't look. You could pass for a solid 10 years younger.
This grows in.
Yeah.
I just get this trimmed. I can pass for 35 easily. If I tell someone I'm 35, they'll believe it.
When I was dyeing my hair, I could.
Yeah. With that being the case, look whatever age you are, but stop trying to if you're 50, stop trying to compete with a 25-year-old woman.
Well, and what does that mean? Like, so what I'm
like,
the thing that I can't get you to answer is, do men want to date women younger or older or their age or what, at different juncture? Do you think that there's something that you see to be consistent in any way with men, or does it not matter that much? I think it changes.
I think so here's my thing. When it comes to dating, and once you're over 40, people date according to their lifestyle and they date according to what their desires are at that point.
That's very important.
So a lot of people don't like being alone. So they're just looking for someone to jump. Like, I knew a girl that got divorced or separated. She divorced or separated in February.
Yeah.
She had a new man by the time September rolled around. She got rid of him.
I was not doing that.
She got rid of him and has a new man that's basically her main boyfriend by the time December. And she's been with him ever since. And I think I told you about her.
I had a fear of that. I didn't want to do that.
I think I told you about her. I don't want to meet him because I'm like, even if he's not your rebound, it's the fact that you were in the middle after 23 years. Like, she was with this guy for 20 something years. So they were together for 3 years, married for 20, so 23 years. You basically replaced him in 6 months.
Well, so you're saying, like, what I see that as is like, maybe she did not take the time to do the work that she needed to do.
And she said she did, but I'm like, there's no way after 23 years you moved on so fast that you've got a man that's basically, and what pissed me off with that, and I think I told you, is when I went over there because she was having a party, somebody asked for glasses, and this motherfucker said, oh, our glasses are over here.
Like it was his
Like
house.
It was his house. And it was her house that she purchased with her ex. And that, like, I never said that to her, but that pissed me off.
It sat weird with you.
And it wasn't in defense of her ex-husband. It was the fact that this man moved, like, basically made it theirs so fast. And to me, that's when we were talking about gaslighting.
There's some women that are trying to fill.
They're trying to fill that. Yes, they're trying to fill the position.
Are there men that do that?
They're trying to fill the position, and a lot of men do that too. They try to fill a position.
They want they're like, I need a wife to come in and do all the wife things.
Yes.
So that's one category.
Especially if they have kids, and they're like, hey, I got to present that I have this nice lifestyle.
So that category, are they looking for someone their age-ish? Like,
most times, yes.
And then if people are
I'll put it to you like this. I'm 52.
Yeah.
I will not date any woman under 35. You have to be 35 or older for me to engage you. 35 or older.
Which makes a lot of sense. I mean, I found, because if I was dating in my late 30s, early 40s, right? I actually met my now husband on the last day of 40, the eve of my 41st birthday. And he's a couple of years older than me. So I guess he was almost 43. It was interesting. I was like one of the oldest women he dated, because he was looking for, he would have had kids again. I did not want to, and he gave that up for me. But so I was like an old lady to him, because he was dating women in their 30s because they were more likely to have a kid with him. Funny enough, he's the oldest guy I dated too, because when some women, and I don't know what this meant. I'm not analyzing myself. I know a lot of women post-divorce are looking for older, security,
yes,
all this. I had been with my ex since I was 19, so I was like, I don't need to be serious. I want to be with people who have common interests and like vibe to me, and I think I vibe a little bit young.
Yes.
So I dated a guy that was more than a decade younger than me. He wasn't even in his 30s based on my age, and I realize now that was a little crazy, right? But mostly they were like a little bit younger than me, just a little bit, and that was like my desire for like a certain kind of energy. And then when I would look too old, I felt like they were like looking like old. That being said, what's interesting is, as it turns out, because in my marriage, I was with a very extroverted person who likes to be out a lot, and I'm an introverted person who likes to be in. We coupled, both of us, way more like consistently with what we like, as in he married someone in the entertainment business and they're both out and traveling a lot, and I married a teacher and we're both in and chilling on the couch a lot.
Yes.
I think there is something very important. Now, we like an adventure, we like to hike, we like to do like certain things.
Yes.
And here's something that I would also say: you want a partner at our age, right? That if you go on vacation, you're not looking to vacation with other couples. And people might say that's a strange thing. If I want to bring someone else on my vacation with my husband, I think I don't like my husband enough. Maybe that's judgy. I don't know. Like, I want to either go on a family vacation or I want to go on a vacation with my husband.
Okay.
I don't need other couples to entertain me.
Okay.
Because that's the person I like the most.
Okay.
And I think, I talk to people about this all the time. I work with people on this. Most women that I have worked with that are dating in their 40s and beyond are either really happy being independent and working on themselves. And maybe this is just my crowd because they're doing personal growth work with me.
I want to step on that. I want to step on that
want
for 2
a
seconds.
partner.
I want to step on that real quick. I will say one of the issues also, a lot of the women in the dating world, which I have discovered, a lot of them are hurt.
Oh,
and
yeah,
they have not,
men
they
and women.
Men and women, but coming from the male perspective.
Baggage, right?
Coming from the male perspective, a lot of women are coming in with baggage. And I'm not talking about kids. I'm talking about the pain that they've dealt with because either they've been dating abusive men for so long.
Abuse, betrayal.
The betrayal, everything. I thought this was the lifestyle that we're going to have. So when they're engaging men, the next man has to put up with the anger. Even if they think that they're doing the work, they've got to put up with the hypersensitivity of what these women have gone through. They've got to put up with whatever the woman is experiencing. They have to be willing to put up with. That said, it is hard sometimes to navigate because people are not honest with themselves. Like one of the reasons why I don't date is because I'm myself from day one. I don't hide it.
That's when you should date, in my opinion.
No, I don't date because I'm myself from day one, and too many people can't handle when they say I'm too much. I'm like, I'm not too much. I'm going to be honest. You're not enough.
Well, you're exactly as much as you are.
I'm high functioning.
But I'm
high functioning. I'm uber intelligent, and I don't fit a spectrum. You know what I fit? I fit me. And I'm not going to placate to you because I'm trying to impress you to go out with you.
Well, you
I'm
also,
not going to,
you shouldn't, this is how I explain it. This is like a relationship of people who are enmeshed. They're like together. I want to fix you and what's broken in you.
And I don't want to fix anybody.
Right? At a certain age, if we have done our self-work, that's a big if, we're not looking to fix anyone, and we're not looking for someone to fix us. We might have our own passion, our own purpose. We have our own
Say it with your chest.
Say it with your chest. Like, when there's two people who know what they want, we've got a whole person over here. And we've got a whole person over here. And then these whole people can and kind of do life together.
Yes.
It's going to be a lot easier. And
yes.
The other thing about a relationship that I say with the mostly women, but sometimes men that I coach, is we want to come to the relationship with who we are, with maybe seeing we have done our best, right, in our work on our own to fix our problems and our issues and to figure out who we are. But then the ultimate test is the relationship. So there's these coaches who will say, don't date. I've put clients on dating pause. You are not in the place to be putting your energy out there, and you're going to attract some bad shit. And you cannot see the progress you've made until you see what happens when you get into a relationship. What happens when the person pushes back? This is attachment style stuff. Do you freak out and try to fix it? Do you retreat and go to your little bubble? Are you able to sit with your own discomfort and come to the table and talk about these things? And I think that is
I like
really
what you just
important.
said, because I think the biggest problem is, and I'm going to say this, I'm tired of hearing I'm doing the work. I'm tired of hearing I'm doing the work. So you're doing the work, but now I got to deal with you while you're going through the work, and you're going through the pain, while you're going through the pain, while you're going through the trauma of the work you're trying to do. And you're expecting
They're not supposed to vomit the work on you, Mark.
But you're expecting me to tolerate the abuse that I'm sometimes going to get.
If they are abusing and vomiting the unresolved trauma on you, they might need to go back to the work.
Exactly. Like me, I'm coming to you whole. I'm coming to you as it took.
Well, you're going to be triggered too. So
it is.
Yeah.
But I'm coming to you as a person who's found his peace. The reason why I never got married, the reason why I never had kids, was because I didn't know who the hell I was. I didn't.
Right.
I was a lost soul, and there's no way I could give you a lifestyle, or I could give anything when I would have been searching. Sure, I could have right now. If things had worked out, what I told you before, I'd have been in an office somewhere miserable as hell, wondering what would have been.
Right, if you had stayed with the woman who,
and then it would have been yeah, I have kids, but
right, and there was an expectation on you to be an earner, and so I do think that people everyone underestimates what the other gender deals with, or the gender roles, whoever's playing that role. I think women perhaps underestimate the pressure on men to be a provider and an earner and to be super strong all the time. That those are these masculine
people swear
qualities.
that's changed, and it hasn't, and it's worse when you get over 40 and 50 if you're in that age bracket, because
you better be financially secure.
Women 40 and 50 years old still play this game, and I've dated women who are literally rich, rich enough for 2 or 3 people, right? But I'm not going to be with no man that don't make the same money as me. I'm not going to be with no man and have him rely on me. But if tides
that's
were
not teamwork,
but
is
if
it?
but if things were reverse, it would be okay for the man to date a woman that's financially insecure. See what I'm saying?
Well, that's some people and some cultures are socialized in that way. A lot of people where I live were I kind of hang out in groups of divorced women and closed Facebook pages and whatnot. And I see there are certainly women that want a certain lifestyle and want to date somebody who's really financially secure. It's funny because one of the things I had to work on for myself, in my previous relationship and marriage, not that I didn't work, not that I didn't contribute, I just wasn't into paying that much attention to the financial stuff. It was all transparent. He would never hide anything from me, but I was like, you deal with it. That didn't bode so well and probably kept me feeling quite stuck and scared to like not be married anymore. Well, guess what? Something I did for myself before I started dating is like, I had to learn how to do, I had to take out a new mortgage when I bought the house. I had to start learning how to deal with my own accountant and do the taxes and pay the bills and all that stuff. And so I was solid on that. So that wasn't important to me when dating. I actually saw Goldie Hawn talking about how important money is in a relationship, and that somebody is perhaps independent enough that the need to be taken care of is not informing all their decisions.
We're going to be back in a moment.
The EI, what?
Hey, so we're coming back. Right now, it's the pluses and minuses of dating older men. And here's an article that I found. They're better at chasing even though they're slower. Yes, older men are slower. We are tragically slower at chasing what we want. But that's because we become more resound on, this is who I am.
Yeah, like I don't resolute in
I don't want to have to call you 80 times a day to make you feel secure that I'm into you.
Although my husband tricked me because he was really good at maintaining text contact and calling me. And then by the time we moved in together, if I didn't track him, I would think he was dead half the time.
But I think sometimes
he's very present when he's with me.
It's sometimes, this is the way I look at it. And I say this all the time and I don't care. If you're looking for me to text you and you know what I do, I'm on the train.
You're a bad partner then for them.
Exactly, because I'm on the train. I'm walking to my destination. I'm thinking about the set that I'm about to do.
Yeah.
I've got to write, which I don't write.
You don't need to be with someone who needs that level of affirmation and reassurance. If
you don't understand that I don't have the time to be chasing you to do this, we're not going to work together.
Oh, I have an interesting question.
Right?
That came out of you saying that, but keep going.
One, a lot of men are still trying to figure out what they want. I'm not trying to figure out what I want.
You know what you want.
I know what I want. Two, I'm in a financial hole, but my financial hole is not your financial hole. My financial hole is when shit comes together, I can pay it all off because I'm moving in a good direction. Right? But you need to respect the fact that I'm hustling.
Well, I'm not sitting here. You made some choices to do what you want to do.
I'm not sitting here, crossing my hands and being like, maybe. Maybe.
No, you're
I'm putting in the work.
Putting in the
right?
work, yeah.
With that said, you got to understand, and this goes to any woman, it says they're like one of these things says we're stuck in our musical heyday. Yeah, I listen to a certain type of music. Like,
oh, me too.
I'm a certain type of person. It's
well, you and I, if it was based on musical taste, we could be married and happy forever.
But, right? But this is one of the pluses and minuses of dating a young girl. She wants to listen to this I could never date a girl who's like, I'm a Swiftie. Bitch, get out of my face.
Do you know that my husband listens to the whitest white music? He fucking listens to like Olivia Newton-John. I'm not even kidding.
And for those of you listening that said he uses the word bitch way too much, I'm not using it in a deplorable way and thinking every woman's a bitch.
No, you're being you.
I'm
you don't have to apologize
me.
For yourself.
No, not to you, because you get it. But there's people that listen like, oh my God, I can't believe. Yeah, I said it. Get over it. Take the stick out your ass.
Oh my God. That was Mr. Direct, everyone. Like, that wasn't even Marklyn. Come on.
I'm just tired of people think that stuff. Like, I did a show the other day and a woman sat here like this. Why are you coming to a show with your arms crossed with an attitude?
Oh, she shouldn't be at a comedy show.
When you listen to something, listen with an open mind. You might not like 90% of it, but you might get 10% of what's being said.
Well, but you can't. You're right. That body language.
So younger audiences are listening to be offended. So when I see young kids in the audience, I always say, I'm about to offend every single last one of you little dumbasses.
Right.
I'm trying to say less of the MFers
Oh, I like that one.
But
yeah.
Yeah, I do. But I'm trying to get myself into the habit of using it less.
I'm a fan of knuckleheads.
But I love saying, well, knucklehead, you got that. But I love saying like, oh, you mother fathers about the, I'm gonna blow you out. Like
you taught me that one. I never used that one. I say that sometimes now.
So like I put on my page the other day and I said, isn't it amazing how a woman can say that she's bisexual and everyone buys into it, right?
Yeah.
Everyone's like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Well, I think
she
that's
likes
common.
women. She likes women. She likes men. Totally makes sense. The minute a man tells you that he's bisexual, it's like, oh, he's gay. Like it goes.
Oh yeah, that's a double standard.
It goes straight into
that's
he's gay.
That's a double standard
right?
in the queer community for sure.
Even gay friends admit it to me. They're like, yeah, the minute a man tells you that he's hooked up with another man, our brain goes to he's gay. But when a girl does it, it's like, oh, she's just living life. That's just her. She could go both ways.
How
I'm like,
did we get here?
I'm just saying in general, dating. These are the things you deal with when you're dating.
I have a question for you because you have come to the table and shared a few things that like you're not going to do. What are you bringing to a relationship as a 50-year-old man?
Have you not met me? I'm beautiful.
I want you to tell the people. You're confident.
Well, first of all, you're dealing with someone who's highly confident. You're dealing with someone who knows where they're going and what they're doing with themselves. You're also meeting someone who listens. See, I have a rare ability that most men don't have. I have the ability to listen. And the problem is most women are not used to men that listen. And when I listen with the ability of being able to regurgitate everything you said to me.
Yeah.
And when I regurgitate what you've said to me, I always, oh, well, this is what you said to me, but this is not what it's adding up to. I sit back and watch. Like I said to somebody the other day, I said, I've just asked you.
Is this good for the other person or not? I want to know what you bring to the table for them.
I said, I've asked you not to talk about me. That's all I'm saying to you. I've asked you not to talk about me.
You said this to who?
To a woman that was married when we were messing around. And I said, I've asked you not to talk about me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't say anything. I said, I've asked you not to talk about me.
Right.
And then she got mad the third time I said it and then blocked me on Facebook. Now, here's my thing. Psychology 101.
Right.
If you're that agitated behind me
did something
saying
wrong.
it, you obviously did talk about me. And you're mad that I know it because you can't figure out who said it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Psychology 101. Because I didn't yell at her. I just said, listen, it's okay. You don't like me. We don't talk. So I'm just asking you.
You're being upfront and direct is what you're saying?
I'm upfront and honest and direct. And I'll tell you what I think. I don't care if your feelings get hurt behind what I'm saying. I will say it in a nice way if I like you, but I'll say it in a mean way if I don't like you.
You're not enticing people right now by telling that.
I'm not trying to entice.
Being direct is positive, but I actually think you have like other things you could bring to the table. It's like, what are like if you were about to write your resume and you wanted this job as someone's partner.
Yeah.
Like you meet someone next week and you're like, I can't believe this, 51, almost 52. She's the one.
I'm just me. I don't add up like what do I offer?
You're gonna.
I'm
So
just
what
me.
you're saying is like if somebody were to ask me what I bring or brought to the table when I was dating as an older woman, I think I brought authenticity. I really didn't care to pretend to be anyone else. I would like show up as myself, for lack of a better word. I'm not performative.
Okay.
I'm certainly like out there and a little bit of a weirdo if you're into that. Like I'm going to be silly and goofy and odd and talk about weird shit. So if you don't like that wouldn't be good. But if you do like that would. Like, I think, what is it? Why can we find love at any age? Because when you're weird and somebody else is weird, kind of line up. And you get each other, but then you also have that like yin and yang balance. Like, so, right? Like I would say my partner and I are polar opposites, but in some ways totally the same. Okay. If that makes sense, right?
I kind of get what you're saying.
Like I know that I like someone who is steady and loyal and like very predictable, which sounds boring, but like because of my own stuff, like I need to know that I can really trust that person. And he comes with that like super masculine energy. He just does.
I can see that.
I come with pretty like I shouldn't say all over the place because this isn't representing women well. I have more of an airy, flowing, feminine energy. But what happens if I'm with a partner, with a man who is not in his masculine in like a positive way, I'm going to step into like my masculine thing and I'm going to try to control everything because I feel very uncomfortable. Does that make sense at all? That like,
no,
so it's like,
does.
what do I come with the ability to sit with my own discomfort when I don't like something and not have to jump down his throat and fix it all the time.
Okay.
I come with the ability to hold space for conversation around issues, forgiveness, understanding. And because I show up with that, I expect somebody to show up with that in return. And to be fair, that's not always the case, even in my own partnership. We're not perfect. Yesterday, I realized like I was having a little thing and I got upset at him for something. And I was really stirred up and anxious, which is not the me he knows. He's like, yeah, you're not usually like this. I was like, yeah, before you met me and I did work, I was. But then I couldn't kick it, and we're watching the Dodgers Padres game, and there's the Japanese guy's like the best player in the world, Otani or something.
Otani, yes.
He strikes out, and all of a sudden it came clear to me. I looked at him, I said, even the best player in the world strikes out sometimes. So that was like,
did you actually say that?
I did. I know I'm such an asshole, but like I was like, oh, I fucked up. Like I got really anxious and I overthought like what I thought was happening. I was reading him and I thought he was really like pissed at me and like judging me for sitting and resting while he was doing something. And we are very like, we both pitch in. But it was, yeah, that's what I said. I said, even the best baseball player in the world strikes out sometime. And he kind of looked at me
that
like,
that was a little dickheadish, right?
Well, yeah, but that's how but he knew I was back. Let's put it that way. When I'm like joking, I'm out of my cuckoo bananas story in my head.
You're not cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
I'm not
at that
cuckoo
point.
for Cocoa Puffs anymore. So long story short, it's like, what are older people bringing to the table?
I think the unfortunate part is most older people have formatted a lifestyle that they're stuck in their ways to a certain degree. They're stuck in their ways, right? Mm-hmm. And when you're stuck in your ways, you don't. So I had somebody the other day say to me, I won't settle.
Well, and you might have to on some things. You can't like.
And I said, when I hear I won't settle and I'm going to get what I want. I feel
like that's trouble.
You know what I hear? I hear I want to be in control of the situation.
Right.
And if I can't control the situation, it's not for me.
Will you settle?
Me?
Yeah.
It's not settling. It's compromising.
Yeah, I agree. So yeah, you have to have compromise.
Like for instance, if I
compromise.
met a woman and she said, Marklyn, you make a ton of money, but you have poor money management, right? I'm a finance major. As long as I'm transparent with you, let me take care of it. And as long as I can see everything,
yeah,
not a problem. Can I buy my shirts?
Compromise, right?
Can I buy my shirts?
Yeah, nobody's.
Can I buy my electronics that I love? And can I do what I need to do to get my shit done? Yeah. Right? Yeah, you can. Cool. We're good. As long as I can see this shit I can go in and see every account.
You know, I'm the one who manages finances in our house. He's a math teacher. He's really good at that. Yeah. But since that was something I worked on, it felt important to me.
But that's my point. It's knowing I like to cook.
Yeah.
Give me a chef's kitchen with the air fan over the top.
Yeah, I got that.
So that it'll suck out because the small ones suck. But if it's
I got the good stainless steel one.
If it's a good one that really will clear the air out.
Yeah.
And you've got my pots and pans and my sharp knives and everything.
Yeah, you're just going to cook up a storm.
I will cook you up. As long as I'm home and ain't doing shit, I will cook you up a meal. You'll have leftovers. If you have kids, your kids will never want for food. As long as I got fresh ingredients to play with, I will cook all day long. I love cooking.
So what you're saying is like, it's not about traditional roles for you at this age?
I know for a fact I grew up with a traditional household. I would never fit into a traditional household
because you're not a traditional guy.
I'm not, and I had to learn both sides of it.
Right, but I think a lot of people are less traditional.
But if you asked me, if you said, if you said to me, hey, my car is doing something odd, give me your keys. I would automatically, if I couldn't do it, I'd take it to a mechanic and get it done. Like stuff like that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Ooh, our lawn needs to be cut. Oh, well, let's go cut the lawn. I'll do it. You know what I mean?
Right.
But, I don't want to cut the lawn, but I'm good at gardening. Okay, then go garden.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like whatever we
Right.
do that makes, I think the biggest problem, and I will say this, and this is especially, I don't give a damn. This is the main reason why Donald Trump is a winning candidate. And I hate to say it. This is why they love him. Donald Trump is a reminder to a certain portion of white America that the man is supposed to be a certain type of way. He's supposed to be the leader.
Well, right. So that's why
And
we're
they-
talking about these like traditional values.
And they're pining for that because they're hoping.
I just threw up in my
they're
mouth a
hoping
little.
if we get a white guy, it's going to be a return to what we know as the white men being a leader, even though white men are still the leaders already.
Whatever,
They're the
yeah.
majorities. But my point is, I'm not a traditionalist,
No.
right? Get in where you fit in is what I've learned. What works for you might not work for another.
Yeah, well, you have to, and maybe the moral of the story, if we're really trying to kind of say what is the difference between dating as a young person in your 20s when you're supposed to like find your partner and do the happy 2.5 kids in the suburbs thing, and then that's the only chance you get. The benefit, my husband and I always say everyone should get to have a second marriage. Like,
Well, I
that's
say
our
this.
joke, like when we get another chance or when we wait till further out, we know who we are better and what we want.
I will tell you this. The reason why I do like women closer to my age, I don't have to teach you how to have sex the way I like to have sex.
You already, they just know themselves better.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just more. Yeah, they're more, and you'd hope that they would be more comfortable with themselves. Also, if there's this idea you're talking about, younger women, when you're flirting with them, they think you want something sexually.
Yes.
They don't even really know what that means. Maybe at that point, and an older woman's kind of does.
Yes.
And they know what they're into and what they're not into and what they're comfortable with and what they're not. I felt very comfortable as an older woman dating, and the advice I would give to, and I wasn't even that old. I had a client yesterday say, well, you're a lot younger than me. I was like, yeah, but you can find love at any age. It doesn't matter. And the best thing you can do is stay true to who you are. Because if you stay true to who you are and you kind of like are the person you want to be with, you are going to find the right person for you. Until you are ready to do that, how about don't even bother? I don't know. Like, do you have any like thoughts, advice? Like, what would you say to someone who either is looking for a new relationship, their first one didn't work out, or they kind of held out and they're feeling like it's all over? I mean, I don't know. Do you think it's all over for you? Are you like, I'm not interested in finding love?
Here's the thing. I have given up on finding love.
I'm such a romantic.
No. I don't believe. Okay, so one, I don't. Okay, so this is going to be a little. This is going to be a little bit tough to say. I said it earlier, because since my parents have passed away, getting close to someone is very hard.
Yeah.
I don't. It's a tough one. I don't believe anyone will love me truly for who I am.
Right. So that's a belief that you have that's kind of sticky.
And what I mean by that is, one, because I'm not a traditionalist. Two, I still got a healthy sex drive.
Right. So it's not about that.
Three, I don't want somebody walking in thinking they could change me. And unfortunately, a lot of women still have that mentality. I can change the guy.
Well, yeah. And that's like
wrong.
to come in and try to do that is to sabotage your relationship from the get-go. It's like you gotta take people for who they are to an extent. It doesn't mean that the two of you together can't work together to better your mutual selves. And if the person you're with doesn't somehow teach you something or reflect to you something so you learn more about yourself and how to be a better person.
Yes.
I don't know if that's a relationship I want to be in.
I need very good communication.
Yeah.
And also, the reason why I don't think I'll ever find love is I like to be left the fuck alone.
Yeah, me too.
And
well, you like your
for anyone
your
anyone hearing
time.
this, for anyone hearing this, when I mean I like to be left the fuck alone, I don't need someone up my ass talking. I haven't heard from you in a week, but you haven't called my phone.
So you're not willing to budge
I'm
on
not
that on your availability.
You will not give me shit because I'm so busy with what I'm doing,
right?
That you don't understand. I'm running on autopilot 95% of the time.
So you would have to be with somebody who has their own thing.
To give you an idea of what I'm saying. So remember I said I won't go into IT. And I said the only way I'll do IT is if I do it in a school, right?
Yeah.
So a school just offered me a liaison position for the next 3 months, right?
Okay.
It's a liaison position. So basically,
you move around to the different schools.
I'll be at 2:45. I'll be there till 2:45, right? And then after 2:45, I got to come home. And then I got to jump on a train because I got to go into the city and I got to do mics.
Oh, geez.
Right?
Yeah.
So I'm on autopilot Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
Autopilot. Because Monday, I got to go and then be in a city. Tuesday, I could just go to the school, but then I'm still going to have to figure out what to do Tuesday night. Wednesday, I got to go right into the city because I'm doing all night. Thursday, I got the night off unless I do something. Friday, I got to do stuff all day again. Saturday and Sunday, or Saturday, I probably got the day off unless somebody gives me a spot. Sunday. But because now I'm attacking and I'm saying, hey, I want to do this show, this show, this show, this show.
Well, so your life is not, you don't.
I don't have.
You're not available.
I had a woman tell me one time, she said, I would love to hook up. Right. And I said to her, yeah, but hooking up with me would mean you'd have to understand it might happen tomorrow. And then you won't see me for another 3 or 4 weeks because I'm so busy moving that you can't see me for another 2 or 3 weeks. Like I just went out for drinks with a friend of mine and her sister.
Yeah.
And it was, I just happen to have this Saturday off.
Right.
But I normally don't. See what I'm saying? And that's the reason why I don't date. Because every woman tells you, oh, I get it. Right? And then when they get into the middle of it, well, you're never around.
Well, it sounds to me that you're not looking for a committed partnership because you don't have the space for it right now.
I don't have the space for someone who needs to see me every day, who needs me to talk all the time.
Well, and a lot of, it's not even the talking. Like something that I've realized is I don't need to connect and talk and get feedback from the person every day. Like we're both working our asses off pretty much, but for me at least, when we get into bed at night, he's there. And it's not because I'm lonely. I actually like to sleep diagonally on my bed by myself, but what I mean is like his presence is there, and that is enough for me.
And my thing is, it'd be great to meet someone and say, we've got this relationship where you understand. And
that's just not happening.
When I come home 1 o'clock at night, you get it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And that wouldn't work for me. So let's not date.
And that's my thing. I understand that. But again, so many women love the concept. And I'm actually working on being on the road more. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
And being on the road, I can't have someone that's like, well, you're never home. I know.
Right.
Because I will not make money. In what I do, I can't make money being in New Jersey 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
My ex-husband travels all the time. I don't know where he is half the time, but you know what? His wife does too. They travel, they're busy, and that works for them. And that's so great because it just didn't work for us. I felt by myself. Like it was really hard.
And I don't,
and I'm so happy for him, by the way.
There's a couple who basically said, us not talking and us both being on a road, we grew apart. Mm-hmm. And I think there's something to that. Yes.
Absolutely. Yes.
There's also something for when, one person is up the other person's ass way too much and not giving that. So when I say I like to be left alone, I don't like people who try to make me feel guilty that I'm not calling them. Like they try to do I see you've been busy all this weekend. Have a great, like dumb shit like that irritates me. Like, yeah, I'm having a busy weekend. Just leave it at that. Right. You see, I have a busy weekend.
But what we've already diagnosed this. You are not in a position, nor do you want to be in a committed partnership because there is not very many people that would be interested in that arrangement.
Here's the
thing. People
thing.
want something.
You know, my dream relationship, maybe our houses or apartments are like within
a mile. God, I've heard a lot of women I know are like this.
Within
a
mile. Within a mile.
He can live down the street.
Yes. And
You like your
you
space.
Have a key. You have a key to my place. I have a key to your place.
Yeah,
and
there's not going to be that many people into that.
And if I come home,
I think. What just happened?
oh, I just got a stupid message.
Oh my God. Hello. Hello.
Yeah, I just got a stupid
Hello?
message. I don't think I don't understand your schedule. It's that I'm not willing to compromise on what I will want with my schedule of life, I guess. I get very confused with your back and forth on what we are doing and not dating and all the jealousy comments. Then we'll go into Mindy, stop overthinking, blah, blah, blah. Like,
Wait, is this about what we're talking about?
Yeah, I guess she's watching.
Oh. Oh, okay.
Which
Got
is
it.
fine. But the thing is, this isn't about her. And she's not getting it that nothing I've said is about her.
Yeah, no, it's just about you. I know that.
It's about me and where I'm
Because
at.
you and I talk off the mics.
We talk off
yeah,
the
you're
grid all the
talking in
time.
general.
Yeah. It's if I'm making an effort, I'm making an effort because I'm interested.
Right.
If I'm not making an effort.
Well, right. You're I know what I know is like, you also know this. Like, I'm the type of friend that if you're my friend, you're my friend.
Yes.
I'm fucking busy. If I didn't talk to you, like, it's because I'm busy, but when we are together, like, nothing has changed. And you and I have been in each other's life long enough that I consider you a friend. You consider, I know if I needed something, I could call you and vice versa.
Yes.
That's it. And like, and maybe that's like, what is friendship? I can't stand what I call high maintenance friendship. I need like, not even low maintenance. I need like no maintenance friendship. I have 3 combined children in my relationship,
Yes.
a dog, a husband, a business, a house. Like, I got shit to do. And a podcast.
I live by this rule.
Okay.
And I
Tell us.
stand on this rule. If I'm making an effort, understand I'm making the effort. If you can't understand I'm making the effort, then you're not understanding that you are someone that I care about to make said effort.
Right. You're not
Because
going out and reaching out to people you don't care about.
When I don't want to be bothered, you don't hear from me. You don't know I exist.
No, I know that about you, because when you cancel someone, you cancel someone.
When I don't want to talk to you,
I don't know if I agree with it, but
well,
it's how you are.
I don't want to be bothered. I really don't want to be bothered. I live in this realm of, please leave me alone. Please don't bother me. Allow me to just do what I want. And when I reach out to you, I will reach out to you. If I don't reach out, I don't reach out. Yeah. And the other problem I have is a lot of people watch my podcast and they think I'm relating it to them, or they think it's me in general.
Because you're really
I use real stuff, but it's not just me in totality.
No,
every relationship, everything we do is complicated.
Right, like because like I'll like post shit, right? And it might be about relationships, but it doesn't mean it's about my relationship or it's about a previous relationship. I might post things about parents, but like if my parents were like wanting to watch me on, it doesn't mean I'm talking about them.
Yes.
It's like, I'm passionate about like relationship styles and how people communicate and psychology, and like I'm sharing that because I talk all day long with all different people with all situations, and so maybe I'm talking about someone else.
Yeah, so one of the things that I always say is that, and this is, it's hard for me, is yes, I have a busy schedule, but if I'm making room and going out my way to alter something about my schedule to contact you, it's because I want to be there.
Well, it must be like you're an important person.
Yes. And the thing is, this is what I mean by the compromise and the settle. People think that a person has to live up to some level of expectation of what they think it should be, versus saying, here's someone that's willing to go or alternate their schedule for me. They're willing to adjust for me. They're willing to change something about what they do. And when you try to force someone to change.
No, they have to be doing it because they want to.
And my thing is, I meet women who want me to change, but on their terms.
Yeah.
And my thing is, I have to change on my terms. I have to be comfortable with the adjustment. I have to be comfortable with the alternative.
It has to be an integrity, as in how you feel on the inside has to match how you are behaving on the outside. And that's maybe when it comes to dating.
Right now, there's only about 3 people that have immediate access to me all the time. One of them doesn't even realize they have access.
Interesting.
Doesn't. Because they try to play this bullshit game of, I haven't heard from you and blah, blah, blah. And, the subliminal bullshit games. You know what I mean? Which we're not on that plateau for you.
Well, they're projecting how they're feeling.
They don't know not to play that subliminal bullshit with me because we're not there. So they try it and I just have to, I blow it off. One of them doesn't understand that I care greatly, but I'm limited on what I can do because of my position of where I'm at. You know what I mean? Like, I'm limited. I'm trying to get out of that limitation because I want to be there more. And it doesn't mean I plan on getting married. Doesn't mean I plan on dating. It just means I want to be there more because I do care. Right? And the other one has the access because we're just great friends.
Right.
And I understand when they're having problems, they contact me. When I'm having problems, if I decide to reach out, because a lot of times I don't talk about my shit. I only call you when I'm batshit crazy.
When I have to talk you off the ledge.
When you have to talk me off that ledge.
Break someone's face.
When I'm like, somebody's about to die by the hands of me, which I'm not a hostile person.
A deep
breath. But when people don't realize what access they have within the autonomy of my life, that hurts me because you're basically saying, I don't care what little effort you're putting in, it's not enough for me. And that's hurtful because if you understand what busyness, like the minute I jump off of this with you, I got to go to the city.
I know.
Right?
Right. I know that.
And I got to
and you know what you'll say to me? You'll be like, get out of here. I got to go.
I don't even sugarcoat it.
Like, you'll just kick me straight out of your house.
It's idle conversation and thank you. Get the fuck out. I got to go.
Right.
Right? People don't really understand, and take me out of it.
I don't need you to coddle me, but maybe
people don't have this level of understanding that I understand where you're at because I listen, but you need to take the time to understand where they're at and stop making it about something bigger or better than, or
it's
worse.
Hard. Can I say that
it's a balance.
Being human is very hard.
It is.
Having that level of self-awareness is very hard. And maybe what we're learning about the age thing is that sometimes if we are lucky, people have taken their L's and learned something, right? And then it's like, now I know how to, like, that's what life is mistakes. I tell my kids all the time, we make mistakes to learn.
Yes.
If things haven't worked out, did you learn the lesson?
Yes.
If you didn't learn the lesson, might want to go back to the drawing board.
And one thing that I do, so this person just said this and they said, I don't think I'm overthinking and blah, blah, blah. But if somebody's telling you that you're overthinking something, instead of defending it, you should ask yourself, why do they think I'm overthinking it? Like when someone tells me I'm being mean, now I think about, why am I being mean?
Well, it's the impact. So impact is greater than intention. So when people apologize to you and they say, well, I didn't mean to hurt your feelings, it's kind of bullshit because they're not willing to look at the impact, right? Impact and how the other person feels. And I will say this, and maybe this person feels bad, and maybe it's not like the greatest relationship because they feel bad when you're just being yourself and direct. Although it can behoove all of us to go, if somebody feels that way, well, then probably I might need to check myself and go, why am I intending? My intention is this, but the impact is this. And then either you learn something, you try it differently. You're like, oh, okay, that person is a sensitive person and I'm going to be sensitive to that. And I think, there's a lot to be talked about, but I think, when I was 19 years old and I met my ex-husband, who we were together for about 20 years, who I really do care about very much. I could probably speak for him as well. I don't think we really knew ourselves well enough to like be in that dance for that many years. And then like we really did like the same things for a long time. And then I was kind of like, well, I don't want to do that anymore. And we had different ideas of what we wanted. And you know what we've both learned is like, it is okay. I mean, I fought it tooth and nail, but it is okay to go in different directions. It is okay to reassess what you want if you decided when you were 19 and 20 and now you're however 20 years older, right? It's like you get to stop, you get to reassess, you get to learn from
I think
what
there's
you didn't see earlier.
I think no matter what we're talking about, I think the biggest thing that we're getting by is communication. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of people get
with yourself as well.
It's with yourself, but with others. And I think a lot of people get in their head about what type of communication they're having. And some people believe that they're great communicators. And like, I'm a good communicator, but I'm a piss poor communicator sometimes because I'm so busy and I'm so on the fly and I don't take the time to slow down.
Well, you're not as communicative as some people would like you to be, perhaps.
And I'm working on that. I'm also working on that because, again, and I think this is what some people will never understand. As an only child, losing both parents is very, very traumatic.
Yeah, you're like alone.
And I'm not
your
saying
family unit is
I'm not saying this as a poor me. I'm saying it as when I'm trying to give you space and it's like playing a tug of war, I sometimes have to shut down and reassess. I know that I'm putting, if you hear from me every day, it's because I want you to hear from me every day. If I'm sending a picture to you, if I'm taking my time to show you I care, it's because I do. Because I am such a cold ass dick. When I'm pushed to be a cold dick, I am.
Right.
I don't do the whole.
Well, it's protective.
It's a total protective maneuver. I don't do the whole let me pretend to be lukewarm with you so we could get around. And I'm sharing this piece because a lot of people don't understand men do have emotions and men do go through hurt and pain. And a lot of women don't want men to share that unless it's with them. And it's like, you've got to understand, screw you. This is what men are going through. If a man lost his dad, if he lost his grandparents, if he lost his wife,
right, he has feelings.
He's got feelings too, and he's trying to find a way to deal with it. And you want him to be the macho man. You want him to have all this act together and not understand he's probably going through some shit himself.
Well, it's systemic. It's a societal
trauma. Love is trauma. Dealing with that feeling.
Well, the getting love, the losing love,
it's traumatic to a lot of people's senses of, oh my God, I didn't think I could feel this way. Well, you know, I'm feeling this way.
Trauma is often considered in the work that I do too much, too fast, too soon. And that's how love happens.
Yes.
Too much, too fast, too soon.
And sometimes you need to back away because you're like, oof, this is a lot.
Like it might be more emotions than you have space for.
Yes. And for me, I don't run from feelings like I used to, but it's still a lot sometimes.
Right. And maybe you don't really have the space to let them in anyways. And that's why they're not showing up, and that's okay. So can we maybe leave this all on the note of like, because I'm such a romantic, and you're like, I've like given up on love. Like right now,
I haven't given up on love. Hold on, I haven't given up on love. I just don't see love happening for me right now.
That's well, we're in the same place right now. You are not in a place in your life where you have space for that type of relationship, and that's okay.
And that's okay. I'm still beautiful.
You are. I am beautiful. No, I can't sing like Christina Aguilera.
What do you mean? I'm still beautiful. Leave me alone. I'm still going to get this going. I'm still going to make it happen. If you don't believe I'm going to make it happen, screw you. I'm going to make it happen because I'm a great person.
You're a great person. You deserve love. How about
here's the thing. I am the guy who will, no matter what, go out his way for someone that he cares about and will do everything in his power to show that person. But that person needs to receive it and understand it the way it's being given, because that's the capacity I might have right now. Nothing would please me more than to be up. And
that requires, like, I don't think there's one person for everyone. I don't believe in that shit at all. I think we were on a planet of almost 8 billion people, and there's lots of people. But there are types of people that jive with your type of person, that can communicate with you, that knows when you're serious and when you're not. And if they don't, they ask. And they, you know, it all comes back again to communication. You know, if you want to be in a relationship, put yourself out there. If you don't want to be in a relationship, take some time off for dating. Do some work.
I live by this code and this code only. I'm going to show up to you and I'm going to show you I give a fuck because I want to show you I give a fuck. If you receive it, you receive it. You don't, you don't.
Okay.
But either way, don't believe I don't care just because you're not seeing me do things 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. When I'm putting that effort, I put that effort in.
Yeah, well, if you know somebody cares about you, they don't need to be doing something for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And to that text message that I got, girl, I can't. First of all, thank you for watching. Second of all, I mean, if you don't realize after all this time that you are someone special, I don't know what to tell you. Doesn't mean I plan on coming there with a 10 carat ring and being like, bitch, be mine. But, you know,
yeah. But you're certainly not showing up with that for anyone else either.
No, there's no one in this house.
You're not available for
There's
that.
no one in this house. I'm not coming home to somebody every night.
I know.
You know what I'm coming home to? 4 walls.
4 walls. That's right.
And a bunch of laundry.
Ladies
and gentlemen, that is our time. Thank you so much. We enjoy you. Thank you. You guys are beautiful. Well,
later.
Hey, you said give it up for me. Alright, we're going to keep the show going. This next comic is very funny. Give it up for Mr. Direct. Make a pass. Hell yeah. Give it up for him.
the fuck you mean there's another one? Holy shit, there's another guy on stage that wants to tell us jokes that we paid for. Get the fuck up and let me do my job. How the fuck y'all doing?